1980, Ecuadorian police arrested a man who attempted to kidnap a local girl from a market. Police started the investigation and that man confessed to the murder of 53 young girls. And the same man later admits to being responsible for the deaths of 110 others. That man was Pedro Lopez, also known as the Monster of Andes. But judge the audacity here. This same guy who admitted that he murdered 53 young girls and then admitted he was responsible for 110 others. Later in the prison, he confessed of having murdered an additional 240 young girls throughout Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. But bear with me and listen to this. This guy was released after 16 years for good behavior and was deported to Colombia. No one knows where he is now. It's hard to believe that he was released for good behavior. Let's go a bit deeper, but it did happen, so let's begin. Pedro was born in 1948. His mother was a prostitute who kept her children in line through the use of violence. At this time, civil war was going on, which would continue for the next 10 years. 1957, 8 years old Pedro was caught by his mother sexually abusing his younger sister. He quoted this in his confession to the authorities. This is not a made up story or not a made up facts. And he said his mother punished him when he got caught and took him on a bus to Bogota, Colombia, which was more than 200 miles away from home, where she left him alone. He was alone. He was picked up by a stranger who offered him food and bed. Instead of this, older men took him to a deserted house and raped him. It was after this incident, being raped over and over again, he decided to do the same. It is unknown when he became murderer, but at the age of 12 he was taken in by an American family. But he ran away after 2 years because he was molested by a male teacher. Then he started living on the streets and started stealing cars. Got arrested when he was 18 and sentenced to 3 years in prison. While in prison, it was reported that this guy was gang raped by 3 other prisons. Within the prison, he hunted them down and slit their throats. But he was never suspected of these murders and was released in 1969 again. And according to my research, it is indicated that during this time he started murdering young girls, stalking marketplaces, lured away his young victims with promises of gifts and trinkets, such as hand mirrors. His victims were between 9 to 12 years old, who would follow him to his secret hideaways, where he had previously prepared graves. This is creepy. I don't know, I'm getting creeped out by just reading out the script that I have written. My god. Well, in the name of spreading knowledge, I'll have to continue reading this. In 1978, he was captured by Indians when he attempted to abduct a 9-year-old girl from their community. He was beaten and stripped off his clothing by Indians, and Lopez said they had placed syrup on me and were going to let me be eaten by the ants. He was buried up to his neck but was saved by an American Christian. He said they should hand him over to the police. The lady who drove him to the police station, she let him go eventually, and no one knows why and how, and he was free to continue his killing spree. In 1979, a river overflowed, and police discovered the bodies of 4 young girls were washed up. Reports say that the girls were strangled with such force that their eyes popped out of their socket. In 1980, he was arrested again by Ecuador police for the attempted abduction of a 12-year-old girl. The mother of the girl saw Lopez leaving the Plaza Rosa marketplace with her 12-year-old girl Maria, and eventually she summoned help and eventually was able to save that baby girl from the monster. The undercover investigation. Police arrived and he was held by a large group of people. Initially, he refused to talk with police, and then police and detectives decided to trick him to the confessing. They placed a pastor within his cell in prison clothes, and he told him that he was jailed for rape in attempt to gain his trust. At first, Lopez didn't reveal anything, but slowly he began to tell all the details of his crimes to him. For a month, Gonzalez was an undercover, and after that he said, for the 27 days he hardly slept. afraid I would be strangled in my bed, but I tricked Lopez into confessing, and he said it was beyond my wildest nightmares. He told me everything. He initially confessed to the murders of 110 girls and later admitted to a further 240 murders, and eventually agreed to take police to some of the graves of his victims. And police realized he is not bluffing, he was telling the truth. He led them to the bodies of 53 young girls buried within the region of Embato. This is it, man. I don't know if I can go on anymore describing this. I don't know how. I did my research, and he was released after 16 years in Colombia. He was deported back to Colombia, and after that, no one saw him, no one seen him where he is, no one know about him, that where he went, what kind of life he is living currently. But he was released. He was released for good behavior. I do not have any much courage to go on with this, to open the articles again, which I gone through last night for this video. I'm not gonna ask for any comments or likes on this. This video creation process has been a nightmare for me. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.